Welcome back, everybody. So it's been a long week. Didn't get to go on my Alaska trip thanks to Hurricane Beryl. It did quite the number on the Houston area. Lots and lots of people without power, myself included. Wasn't able to go outside and do anything in the garage. My garage is on a separate circuit from my house, and we've lost power out here. Going on 6 days now, 7 days. I don't even know what it is now. But house is running off of a generator. I don't think the wife would be too happy if I pulled the generator off of the house to hook the garage up and work on the airplane. So priorities for right now. Got to the end of the week though, and I realized the tank was cured and I don't need power to go leak test it. So I decided to go ahead and try leak testing that right tank. So here you see me just installing the leak test kit items, which is just a cap for the fuel pickup line and then a Schrader valve that goes in the fuel drain so you can put air in the tank. I also took some saran wrap, put it on the back side of the fill cap, and then stuck the fill cap in and taped over it. I just used masking tape. You really probably should use duct tape. The only duct tape I have right now is Gorilla Tape, and I didn't want to deal with it leaving a residue. I'm installing that balloon now. I'd wrapped some thread tape around the threads where the balloon was going to go, hoping that it would help make a tighter seal for the balloon. It helped a little, not a lot. I also tried using some safety wire, thinking that would squeeze down tight around the balloon. It did not. But we're going to find out here in just a second. I am using my air compressor. I have since got a bicycle pump to air this up, but I do have the regulator cranked all the way down. So I think it was only pushing maybe 3 or 4 psi in there. Yep. No surprise, it leaked. So I'm airing it back up and got the soapy water out, and I'm checking for leaks. And the first places I'm checking are everywhere the leak kit stuff was installed. So that Schrader valve, there were no leaks there. Then I checked around the balloon, and there's my leak. It's blowing by the balloon pretty good. So I'm sitting here adding zip ties and everything else I can think of. Still leaking. Decided to start over with a fresh balloon and some fresh zip ties. So get this installed, put some more air back in it, and then I'm going to continue spraying the tank looking for other leaks. At that point I'm pretty happy it's not coming out of the balloon, but the balloon is still going down, so I have leaks somewhere. Nothing in that end rib, which was nice. Now I'm shooting down the rivet lines. Nothing on all the rivet lines. There is a little bit bubbling up and around the filler cap. That's to be expected. You're allowed to ignore that. It's not a whole lot, but nothing on either of the end ribs. But now if you pay attention, the middle top edge of the baffle, you see it starting to blow bubbles. And now I'm trying to mark where it's at. There ended up being about 4 leaks. There's one down on the end by where the fill neck is on the baffle top edge. Anyhow, trying to get it marked is difficult because now everything's covered with soapy water. The rest of this is just kind of me struggling with trying to mark where it's at. When I looked at it closer, it became pretty apparent that the very back edge of the top flange on that baffle, there's a little tiny gap between it and the tank skin. And if I pull the skins together as if they're bolted to the wing, it closes that gap up. So I'm going to guess that that top edge bead, when I put it down and put the baffle in, wasn't big enough or far enough forward to get pushed up against the baffle completely like it should. So my plan going forward is I searched around, and it turns out you can thin out the sealant with toluene. Hope I'm saying that right. I found some at Sherwin-Williams. I had to buy a gallon of it, which is going to be way too much. But you can mix it up to 15% by weight with the sealant to thin it out. And apparently, if you thin it out to that max extent, it's thin enough that you can almost spray it on with a paint gun. It's so thin. So I'm going to thin it out. I'm going to put it into a syringe with a needle, and I'm going to try injecting it down in what little bit of gap I've got there and see if I can get it to seal up. With the hope that once it's attached to the wing, it'll help hold it even better because it's actually going to squeeze it together. But the idea is to get it to stop leaking right now. So as soon as I get power back and I'm not running on a generator, I can get out to the garage and make these repairs hopefully and try another leak check in another week or so. And I wanted to get this video out so y'all had something and I had something to look at. Here's some pictures of the leak test in progress. Looks like it's holding, but it's not. And there's a close-up of the biggest leak right in the middle of the baffle. May have to encapsulate those rivets, don't know. Stick around, see how it turns out.